Tom Morello accidentally tackled by security guard at Rage Against the Machine show. The guard was intercepting a fan who'd rushed the stage when he crashed into the guitars during the band's Toronto concert. Of course, it's in Canada. Ugh. Rage Against the Machine have had a bumpy start to their long-awaited reunion. Earlier this month, at a Chicago gig, vocalist Zach De La Rocha appeared to injure his leg and has been performing while seated ever since. Let's see. Is there a video? Zach De La Rocha has appeared to injure his leg. The long-awaited COVID-delayed reunion tour continued with their second show run at United Center in Chicago tonight. At some point during the show, Zach De La Rocha appeared to have injure his leg, subsequently performing multiple songs while seated. Consequence reports the multiple social media posts from eyewitnesses show. Consequence also shared a fan's video. Let's see the fan's video, shall we? So what's going on? How did he? This is a fan's video. This is not shit. They're not doing shit. Well, let's see him hurt himself. I want to see the pain. I want to see it. I've met the bass player before, by the way. He's pretty cool. He's a really nice guy. Okay, so let's get back to the story here. So somehow he injured his leg. So we know that. De La Rocha briefly stopped the show. Hold on. Now injured his leg and has been performing. Now guitarist Tom Morello has suffered a bit of a tumble too, as TMZ and Rolling Stone pointed out. Last night, July 23rd, which is not last night anymore, during the band's show in Toronto, a security guard was apparently chasing down a man who had rushed onto the stage. As the security guard tackled the stage crasher, he also made contact with Morello, knocking the guitarist down as the band performed Killing in the Name of. De La Rocha briefly stopped the show, saying, hold up, as he waited to see if Morello was okay. Morello was then helped to his feet and returned to his post on stage. The crowd cheered and the band continued performing. Watch the clip below. So let's watch it. This isn't even a good clip. This is a terrible clip. Song is badass, bro. He's just sitting. This is such a shit video. I hate this video. During the first reunion gig, Wisconsin, Rage Against the Machine shared multiple messages on a massive screen behind them, including words "Abort the Supreme Court." The band previously pledged to donate $500,000 to reproductive rights organizations in Wisconsin and Illinois. The funds, $475,000 to be exact, were raised from the sale of charity tickets for the Wisconsin-Illinois show earlier this month. So that's nice. My question is, how did Zach De La Rocha sound unless he wasn't sounding like the guy from the Gorillaz? Then there might be a problem, but he sounds really good. Let it go. Mariah Carey does her show with her kids on the stage like she cannot afford daycare. I'm not talking shit, okay? I'm just saying that part of the show has always been Zach jumping around, being wild, okay? So that's all I'm saying, same-o. Not shit talking. I love Rage Against the Machine. I'm a big fan. I've seen them before. I seen Gangstar open up for Rage Against the Machine, okay? That's how gangster I am. God damn it. But that was a shit video. Hold on. No, we don't want to see that or that or that. That. I don't care about that. That. I wish. Let me try to find this. Tom Morello tackled. Is it gonna show us? Show the fucking video. Wasted our life with that. Son of a bitches.
The rhythm was moving a lot of people at Scotiabank Arena. Let me tee it up first here, guys. It's horizontal phone. Forgive me, it's not bigger in landscape. It's horizontal. So that is Zach De La Rocha, the lead singer.
Rocha?
He injured his foot not that long ago, so he's sitting on like a bin or a suitcase. I don't know what you would call that.
It's a road case for equipment.
But he's that what is it? Sorry.
What is it, Robbie?
Road case. Thank you. I'm not a roadie. I knew there was a proper.
I'm not a roadie. Tell me what it's all about.
Tom Morello's lead guitarist for
Fucking Canada.
Years. One of the more respected guys in the business. He's amazing for not just what he does on stage in the studio, but off stage and
okay,
elsewhere.
we get it.
So they're down from the crowd.
Oh no!
I let it. Wait a second.
There you go.
Down is making a beeline.
This is good.
This is a packed Scotiabank Arena. This isn't
there.
Okay. And wait a second.
Woo!
I let it go too far. All right, so
Watch,
wait
here
for
it goes.
security. There's security.
He's trying to get the
there's my
dude.
guy.
Late o'clock.
There's Dave, the security guy, and Tom Morello's like, "What's this?
What is this?
There's something happening over my left
Feel
shoulder."
the presence.
Now, security's role here is to make sure this idiot is taken care of. The problem is that idiot fell off the stage, and security takes out the lead
Fucking
guitarist
Dave.
Against the Machine.
No.
Tom Morello.
No.
And Tom Morello ends up off stage.
No.
This poor
I'm gonna
security
show it
guard
to you
had one job.
one more time. I'm gonna show it to you
Protect
one
the
more
guy
time.
We
who
do have to
just
see it one more
rolled
time.
over Like a giant bowling ball does to a pin.
One more time.
I hate these people.
Here's the guy.
talking.
Here comes security. And
You know the movie The Bodyguard? This is like the opposite of how that movie ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're doing it wrong, guy.
Their triumphant fashion, as if to say,
Now I want to see him actually the real video though. I saw one. I thought I did something with it, but I guess I didn't. Oh, is this the angle? All right.
Anticipated reunion ever. So when the security guard, so in the bottom right corner, you see the fan jump over into the side stage area from the crowd. He then goes to run up the stairs. Security catches it quickly and is moving in.
Here he comes.
He then hurdles him, Super Bowl worthy hurdle here, out of his grasp. At this point, the security guard has forward momentum, and the poor guy ends up tackling Tom Morello off the stage. This doesn't look intentional. I'm sure the security feels bad about this. Here it is full speed, so you can see how quickly this happened. This all went down in a matter of about 6 seconds in total. Zach quickly sees what is going on and stops the show. He sees his bandmate off the stage, has no idea what has just occurred so quickly, and here's what happened after that.
Hold on.
He's all right. He's all right. Yeah.
Whoever the fuck is wise like that, don't try that shit. What just happened? Do not try that shit. What happened? Sorry, we're cool, we love y'all, but don't do that.
Let's go.
So as Zach pointed out, don't jump up on the stage and interrupt the show. This could have been a lot worse. Tom really could have been injured. This dude was a giant tackling him off stage. Again, I don't blame the security guard at all. He was in the process of trying to tackle this dude. He was already falling forward, and he happened to run into Tom Morello. And I'm very glad that he is not injured.
I too am not. I am too. I'm glad that Tom's not injured. So there's been some complaints, obviously. Fans are pissed at Rage Against the Machine for high ticket prices, but they should be pissed at scalpers. Rage Against the Machine's entire North American tour seems to sell out in minutes, February 14th, and now scalpers are having a field day reselling tickets for huge profits. Though most fans understand it's scalpers who charge $1,000 per ticket, others are raging against the band for the situation that's out of their control. Tickets to see Rage weren't cheap in the first place, $125, but to combat scalpers, Rage Against the Machine held back 10% of the allotted tickets and added a nominal fee to them, donating the profits to charities and organizations. So I was out of it, $125. The most expensive ticket for any Rage Against the Machine Run the Jewels headline show is $125 US, with exception of charity tickets where 100% addition of the proceeds. So that's Tom Morello talking shit on Twitter. Kid Cudi needs to take a lesson. But before tickets went even went on sale, scalpers were speculatively selling seats. Fans started lashing out at guitarist Tom Morello due to high costs. Oh shit, no tickets are on sale till Thursday. These insane online prices are fake. Speculative scalping, don't be fooled. These outrageous prices are all scalpers. No tickets are on sale till Thursday. Look, he keeps saying, again, sir, those tickets. Look, why is he addressing these assholes? Rage Against the Machine, fight the power, stand up to the man. Capitalism is broken. We're all equal. Also, Rage Against the Machine. Tickets are $400. Rage Against the Machine. We're getting back together. Rage Against the band. Yeah, fans. Yes, Rage Against the Machine. And we're coming to your city to rage against inequality. Fans. Yes, Rage Against the Machine. That'll be $450. Fans. Wait, what? Rage Against the Machine ain't raging against capitalism. Rage Against the Machine tickets go for $400 plus. It's just proof that you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Damn. Rage Against the Machine, fight capitalism. Capitalism must burn. Also Rage Against the Machine, $450. Thankfully, other Twitter users knew to direct the anger towards fuck Ticketmaster for their artificially inflated ticket prices. $450 for nosebleeds, $300 sections for Rage Against the Machine, so $1,200 for the convenience fee. Chaos Soul, thank you so much for that follow. What's up, Robbie? Welcome back. This is happening for everyone. Google Dolls and Gorilla tickets are both crazy expensive. The 3 and 5 years ago. Wow. Scalpers put them out first now. Let me know they were coming through, so it helped me. Happened with Gorillas, so was able to get on the pre-sale. Well, I guess that's it. They say $125, but at the end of the day, with fees and taxes, it's probably like $200 and some per ticket, and plus travel and lodging and stuff. I mean, I saw Rage Against the Machine for like $50, but I saw Gangstar and Rage Against the Machine for $50, and I guess I gotta take into account inflation, right? And this was like in the early 2000s, or maybe even in the late 90s, either early 2000s or the late 90s. But it was an amazing show. We rushed the floor because in Detroit at the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is now called something else, you pay for the seating, or you can pay for general admission, which is the floor, which I think that's most places. And we saw that people were gathering people up outside of the tunnels to go down to your seating. And they're like, come on, guys, we're going to rush the fucking floor. We're going to rush the floor. And my boy JD was with me, and he was like, dude, let's do this. And he was like, you're fucking big. And I was like 300 pounds then. So like, I would just like mow motherfuckers over. So he gathers up a big crowd, and we're just like, come on, let's go. We're going to rush the fucking floor. We run down that bitch so fast. It's like waterfall. And you see it happening. It's just like waterfalls of dudes just running towards the floor, because we pay $50 for some nosebleed seats. And then fucking we're like, for Rage, we got to get on that floor so we can mosh and be crazy. We ran down. Security saw us coming, and they tried to stop, but security can't stop a big waterfall of human beings, especially when you got a 300-pound fucking fat kid coming. Ah! So we ended up getting stopped right before we can jump the wall, and my buddy gets pinned between a seat and a big crowd of people. And I remember you could see that panic in his eyes. It was just like, and his eyes were all bulging. And I'm like trying to pull him out, and I'm like fucking like jabbing motherfuckers, like, get the fuck off me, get off him. And so I finally get my buddy up. He didn't die, thankfully. And so we got busted out, but we got told that we had to go back. And so we started walking back up the stairs. just for a whole nother fucking waterfall of dudes just some rushing towards us. And we're like, oh, fuck. So we just turn around and we're like, fuck you. And the security guard jumps out of the way because he doesn't want to get pinned down and fucked up. So I fucking went, I ran and I jumped over the wall. And like, I was so fat, I couldn't get my leg over. So I went like straight over. Like, it was like the worst thing ever. I was just like, and landed right on my back. Knocked the wind out of myself. But hey, I got to be on the floor to see one of the greatest bands in the fucking world ever to fucking exist at probably their peak. Yeah, at their peak probably. I mean, that was, I can't remember what album. I think it was their last album they put out, which was, what was it? Something LA? Anyways, whatever. So I was, Gorilla's show, San Francisco show, $499 for 2 killed me. Yeah, the cost, I got 4 for $350, I think. God damn. Timing for boobs. Yeah, baby. We got boobs. We might do boobs again before we end, just so you guys know. Just so you know. Shout out to Scalpers for buying all the tickets to Rage Against Machine tour already. Guess if you want to see your favorite band these days, you got to pay $300 plus for the release. What a joke. Fuck you, Ticketmaster, and fuck you, Scalpers. Well, the thought of taking my son to Rage Against the Machine in Arizona was a good one, but it's absolutely asinine. When is enough going to be enough? Okay, $1,000. Get the fuck out of here. God damn. So we should cover this. We should cover fucking I'm gonna look into this. Like these tickets and stuff, and these scalpers getting these tickets. Okay, so people are pissed. Even $125 people are pissed. You know what I mean? So I with their ideology, I kind of want to go through this a little bit. Because the political views and activism of Rage Against the Machine, they've done a lot of awesome activism. No, you know what? Well, maybe we'll read a little bit of this. Okay, you know what? The video that we're gonna watch covers this shit. So let's do that. What is this? So this one is called "Did Rage Against the Machine Sell Out?" And this one is pretty good. So let's sort of start from here. Dead.
It's not surprising Rage Against the Machine, with their politically charged music, would encounter strife and challenges during their career. In fact, the struggles of the band members had a heavy hand in shaping their ideals. This is the tragic real-life story of Rage Against the Machine.
Tragic.
Zach De La Rocha was born on January 12, 1970 in Long Beach, California. His father, Roberto Beto De La Rocha, was a muralist whose politically charged Chicano artworks with Los Four introduced the radical art style to the area. According to the LA Times, the elder De La Rocha was part of a landmark Chicano art exhibition in the mid-70s, which shortly afterward, he destroyed all his paintings and retreated from the art world for 20 years.
God
The
damn.
powerful messaging of these works was an early influence on Zach, one which would be later reflected in the socially aware and righteously angry music he'd write with Rage Against the Machine.
That's crazy, man. When artists destroy their art and they're just like, fuck it, I'm over it.
De La Rocha's parents divorced when he was still a baby, and he was raised by his mother in the city of Irvine in Orange County. There, in an overwhelmingly white area, Zach experienced racism and bullying for his Mexican heritage. One particular incident in high school, during which a teacher casually used an anti-Latino racial slur to De La Rocha's classmates' amusement, reinforced for him the insidious nature of racism, as noted in Rage Against the Machine Stage Fighters. According to Joel McIver's book, Know Your Enemy, De La Rocha called Irvine, quote, one of the most racist cities imaginable. Born in 1964 to
Irvine, if anybody doesn't know, Irvine, California is Southern California, and it's Orange County, and it's before Los Angeles. And Irvine, Orange County is a notoriously white fucking area of the country. It's very expensive. And I'm sure during this time, and this is probably the 80s when he's in high school, I'm sure there's just unmitigated hate towards Mexicans, which now when you look at who occupies that space now is a lot of Latinos. Lots of Latinos live down there. I mean, it's so close to the border. And as Latinos are coming up, I mean, we're just taking over, yo. That's just how it goes. So that's a tough thing. And I had a similar thing where fucking I came up and I was going to school in a very white part of the world. It was country white. country white is different than Irvine white, but you know, I was passable white until they saw my mom drop me off, and then that's when they started making fun of me for being Mexican and shit. So that's how that shit goes. That's how that shit goes. I was passable white until they saw my mother. So, but you know, whatever. Right? It could have been worse. It could have been much worse for me.
To a Kenyan revolutionary father and a white American activist mother, Tom Morello is known the world over as one of the great modern American rock guitarists. But it took a difficult upbringing to...
Which is very true. I just want to second that. Tom Morello is seen as an innovator on the guitar. He did things on the guitar that no one's really, you know, attempted to do. His stylings are very interesting and very unique. And so Tom Morello is also known as someone who's brought a very different feel and the idea, like different ideas, different approaches to the guitar that nobody's really heard before. So he's also what do they call those motherfuckers? What do you call that when someone's changing, a game changer? Fuck it. He was a game changer for the guitar.
To get him there. Like Zach De La Rocha, Morello's parents divorced when he was just 1 year old. Also like De La Rocha, Morello experienced racism and bullying, in his case, living in a 99.9% white town with his mother. According to Know Your Enemy, Mary Morello continued to devote herself to anti-racist and social justice causes, even as hostility toward her mixed-race family made it difficult for them to find housing. Both mother and son were harassed, with Mary sometimes finding objects related to the Ku Klux Klan in her office. One time, she also found a noose hung in their garage. Growing up, Morello was influenced as much by his personal experiences with racism as by the radical political ideas first introduced by his parents. The Black Panther Party was a regular topic of discussion during Morello's childhood, and he was drawn to the writings of its founders, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale.
None of my heroes ever appear on the ballot.
Unsurprisingly, music also heavily influenced his worldview, particularly bands like
Innovator,
The Clash, who were using high...
It's not Innovator, it's Virtuoso. He's a virtuoso. He's considered a virtuoso, even though he's not like super shreddy or anything. This is just his approach to the guitar is very virtuistic. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Tom Morello is very well known for what he does. He's very well known for being a fucking awesome guitarist who changed the game. Who he was using that. He uses the whammy pedal. That's how he gets a. It's called the whammy pedal by Digitech. Digitech, is that it? Any guitar, maybe Pizza Man is a Digitech who makes pedals.
High-octane punk music to deliver criticism of U.S. foreign policy, economic injustice, and other radical messages that would later appear in Morello's music as well. Bassist and backup vocalist Tim Comerford was born in Irvine, California in 1968. His father was an aerospace engineer, and his mother was a teacher and mathematician. In an early, devastating blow, Comerford's mother was diagnosed with brain cancer when he was just 7 years old. By the time Comerford was in 3rd grade, his mother could no longer help with or even understand his homework. She left to get treatment and stay with her sister in Sacramento, while Comerford's father remarried. Comerford had a difficult relationship with his family, particularly his father. He sometimes lashed out at or bullied other children, as noted in MacIver's Know Your Enemy. Thankfully, he developed a friendship with Zach De La Rocha in high school. It was Zach who introduced him to the bass guitar and inspired him to find healthier outlets in poetry and music. Even though his upbringing was marked with serious challenges, Morello excelled in school and was the first student from his high school to attend Harvard. After graduating,
you see what he was doing there? He was playing with his selector switch, which he was fucking with his selector switch, which would give him like a slicer effect. So it'd be like, hold on, let me see if I could get his slicer effect. I fucked up Raina's whole thing. She's gonna be pissed. So it would be like something like this. So, but with the guitar. So he'd be fucking with the selector switch and it would fucking mute it. And you'd just find different sounds within the guitar. He was also somebody who took the quarter-inch cable out and would touch it to his guitar to get a ground sound, which is usually an ugly sound. but he used it to his advantage. So yeah, he was definitely doing weird and different things with it.
1986, with a Bachelor of Arts in Social Studies, he moved to Los Angeles, where even a history of hardship and a degree from an Ivy League school couldn't guarantee him work. With music already a driving goal of Morello's, he searched for daytime and part-time gigs that could support him without getting in the way of his music. In addition to odd jobs and menial labor, Morello took up exotic dancing to pay the bills. From there, he
I didn't expect that. When I watched this video, I did not expect Tom Morello to be a Chippendale or an exotic dancer. But yay, you gotta pay those bills, baby. Enjoy the check. Have a good rest of the stream, friends. All right, buddy. I'll see you later. Love you, buddy. Anyway, running to Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. Let's go. Let's go, Chuck E. Cheese. Okay. Let's go.
went to work for California Senator Alan Cranston, an experience which furthered his disillusionment with the American political process. Right from the start, Rage Against the Machine wrote music that was loudly and fiercely opposed to American systems of power. Politically charged songs like Bulls on Parade and Killing in the Name were launched onto the charts and into radio, controversial messaging and all. Still, all the popularity in the world couldn't stop Rage Against the Machine from being censored regularly. One of the most infamous early examples of this was their first and only performance on Saturday Night Live in April 1996. According to Rolling Stone, the band's two-song performance was cut down to one after they attempted to hang upside-down American flags on the amps during the set. With billionaire and then Republican primary candidate Steve Forbes hosting the show that night, Rage saw the perfect opportunity to voice their opposition. Instead, they were essentially chased from the studio and banned from performing on Saturday Night Live ever again.
So, also, you got to think about who owned NBC at that time. I don't think they own it, but GE owned NBC at that time. And so when you think about what's going on, they're trying to, and GE is a big manufacturer for explosives and weapons and stuff. So they were somebody who, they were a company that, or they are a company that, you know, makes a lot of money off of this whole idea of America, this whole idea that America is number one and that we got to go bomb the hell out of that country. You know, there's that whole lore or in that whole idea here in America where we're just like, we'll bomb them back to hell. You know, it's like, we're going to fuck it. So we're going to smoke them out. And, you know, GE, they make that's their bread and butter is what at the time was sort of capitalizing off of the not patriarchy, but the patriotism of Americans and the sway of American opinion with the pro-war ideology. Now, fucking, you know, Rage Against the Machine was very much anti-war, fucking anti-system, although it was the system and capitalism that made them very, very wealthy young men at the time, still are very wealthy men. So,
as with their history of censorship, Rage Against the Machine has a long and storied tradition of having their shows disrupted or shut down by police. According to the Seattle Times, Sheriff Bill Weister attempted and ultimately failed to block the band from performing a concert at Washington State's famous outdoor venue, The Gorge, claiming that Rage's presence would lead to disorderly behavior. Furthermore, a performance and demonstration at the 2000 Democratic National Convention led to a crowd of about 8,000 getting chased out and beaten with batons by mounted police and fired on with rubber bullets. At least 6 people were arrested, an action which was condemned by the American Civil Liberties Union.
You have 15 minutes to disperse.
Perhaps most notable was the New York Stock Exchange
This was
incident.
dope. I remember when this
Rage Against the
happened.
Machine, the band was in front of the building filming a music video for Sleep Now in the Fire, helmed by documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. Police eventually arrived and ordered the makeshift concert shut down, detaining and removing Moore. Rage Against the Machine, along with members of the crowd, attempted to enter the building, and in an incredibly rare occurrence, the New York Stock Exchange's security doors slammed shut, with the entire exchange closed an hour early.
no money was
By
harmed.
2000, the pressure on Rage Against the Machine was building to a breaking point. Between pleasing their hungry fans, making their music industry handlers happy, and avoiding police violence and national censorship here and there, it's a wonder that the band didn't break up earlier. In October 2000, Zach De La Rocha announced that he was leaving the band. According to E! Online, De La Rocha felt the band's decision-making process wasn't working and was undermining their, quote, artistic and political ideal. But the decision was very difficult, and it took a heavy toll on De La Rocha. The rest of Rage Against the Machine, meanwhile, wasn't interested in breaking up. Comerford, drummer Brad Wilk, and Morello issued a statement following the one from De La Rocha, saying that they were committed to writing groundbreaking music that would inspire political and social change. In their search for a new lead singer, the band found Chris Cornell of Soundgarden and formed Audioslave in 2001.
Which Audioslave was just okay. Not that great at all. Okay, so that kind of gives you some ideas of where they're coming from. They've always faced a sense of censorship and stuff. So I like this video of this dude. He was kind of talking about why people think that Rage Against the Machine. So it seems like they came up to the same thing with System of a Down. You know, same. I was trying to look into some of the stuff that System of a Down was into, and I didn't find a whole lot on like their political views. I'm sure there is stuff out there, but I didn't find a whole lot on like what they were up against and what they were for and what they were against. Again, I found some, but I didn't find a lot. Like Rage Against the Machine was just wore their shit on their sleeve. They're like, we are not for what you think we are. So, you know, the censorship shit has always been a problem, and I mean, and now more than ever. So I don't know. This was a pretty decent article that was put together. But because they were involved with the Senstanistas, I can't remember what it was called. So Rage Against, so here's the EZLN. The band's very vocal supporters of the Zapatista Army of Natural Liberation, especially De La Rocha, who has taken several trips to Mexican state of Chiapas, to aid in the efforts. The flag of EZLN serves as the primary reoccurring theme of the band's visual art. Morello described EZLN as a guerrilla army who represents the poor indigenous communities in southern Mexico, who for hundreds of years have been trodden upon and sort of cast aside, and which really are the lowest form of the economic social ladder in Mexico. In 1994, on New Year's Day, there was an uprising there, and they were led by the charismatic Subcomandante Marcos, and it's a group which is tremendously supportive of the most objectively poor and continues to fight for dignity for all people of Mexico. An interviewer was once told by De La Rocha, "Our purpose is in sympathizing with the Zapatistas is to help spark dialogue. De La Rocha has been particularly spoken out in the cause of EZLN. He explained the importance of the cause to him personally. It is important to me as a popular artist to make clear to the governments of the United States of Mexico that despite the strategy of fear and intimidation to foreigners, despite their weapons, despite their immigration laws and military reserves, they will never be able to isolate Zapatista communities from the people in the United States. Through concerts, videos, interviews, broadcasting, and information at concerts, and our song lyrics, we are placed within reach of young people, our audience, the experiences of the Zapatistas. We act as facilitators, goddamn, sorry guys, of the ways in which they can participate and put them in contact with the organization." So that's one of their political views. Seems like they came, so Radio Free, so we heard about the Saturday Night Live incident. Sleep Now in the Fire is when they shut down the stock exchange. The National Democratic Convention was awesome. They were fucking with them. And the Republican National Convention. Assassination comments, controversy. Rage Against Torture. So they've been really involved in activism and stuff. That's kind of what their bread and butter was in a sense. So let's get into this video.
They were thinking more like, oh yeah, mom, you to War Robots. They call it a sixth variety there is to the map. Friend Kevin brought the tape to school, told me it was a new favorite band, and gave me his Walkman to check it out. I put the headphones on, pressed play, and I was like, okay, I listen to hardcore and I listen to rap, but this is something different. This is like both of those things at once, and it actually doesn't feel forced or corny. And the reason I say that is because, as most of you probably know, An amazing frontman, incredible vocalist. And one thing in particular that I want to point out is like, notice how simple his lyrics were. Like Killing in the Name of, I think only has 8 lines in it. He was so good at coming up with these like super simple lyrics that were really easy to sing along with. I know a lot of people won't like this, but it actually reminds me of Lil Pump, who's also great at that. That's how you blow up, right? And speaking of which, this is probably... And on top of that, a super, super tight rhythm section. They had great music, they had the major label promotional machine behind them. That's how you blow up, right? And speaking of which, this is probably a good time to address the first big question about Rage. If they're these super hardcore leftists that hate capitalism, then why did they sign to a major label? Why did they make all these videos on MTV that played after ads for Doritos and Super Nintendo? Why did they do interviews in Rolling Stone that would be next to an ad for pickup trucks or Miller Lite or whatever? Why did they participate in the whole like mainstream media machine? Why didn't they just stay an underground DIY hardcore band and play shows with Born Against and Struggle and Downcast? Well, as you might expect, lots of people ask the same question, and here was their answer from Tom. When you live in a capitalistic society, the currency of the dissemination of information goes through capitalistic channels. Would Noam Chomsky object to his works being sold at Barnes & Noble? No, because that's where people buy their books. And whether you like their politics or not, personally, I disagree with them on a lot of things, but this video is not a referendum on their politics. The fact of the matter is that if their plan was to use their music as a vehicle and a platform to get their message out, then that plan definitely worked. That said,
Hey,
it's true.
Sammy, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, my friend. We're just talking about Rage Against the Machine, and you know, their ticket prices are crazy, and people call them kind of sellouts. Sammy, side effects, how dare you?
Wespia
Jerry mean. Sammy side effects, thank you so much for that sub, and this is for you, my friend. This is for you. Where is it?
Hello and welcome to We Speak English Good TV. I'm your announcer, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now please, put your fists in the air. Wave them like you do not care. For your host, Mike EP.
Sammy side effects, thank you so much, my friend. You are the shit. I appreciate you. Everybody go and give Sammy Side Effects some love. Can we get a shout out for Sammy Side Effects? Sammy Side Effects is a fucking hilarious. He's an extremely talented multi-instrumentalist who does live looping. And he has his own awesome songs, and he does a lot of fucking cool things. So go check him out. He has a green screen. He's killing it. He's killing it out there. He's also a live performer. He also has TikTok videos. I'm just a boy. A hot young boy, exactly, and he's hot. So go get some hot loads over there. A hot load of Sammy Side Effects. Sammy, we're talking about Rage Against the Machine, and we're trying to figure out if they're sellouts. And you know, ticket prices are ranging from $125 to about $450 a piece. And they're saying that it's the scalpers, but I don't know. Tom Morello was tackled by a security guard on a couple days ago on stage. So we're just getting into it, seeing what's going on. We'll say no more. We'll say no more. Get a hot load from Sammy Side Effects.
True that probably 90% of their audience didn't pay any attention to their politics, like the football guys I mentioned.
Well, what's interesting? So a lot of people were criticizing Rage Against the Machine for selling out and signing to a major label, doing all these different promotions through Rolling Stone, having their videos on MTV. And Zach De La Rocha was sort of expressing how, like, well, this is how we get our message out through capitalistic means. And he brought up the idea of would Noam Chomsky be opposed to selling his book at Barnes & Noble? No, because that's where people buy books. And just because it's a part of a capitalistic ideology and a capitalistic machine doesn't mean that they still don't have this message they want to put forth. They just want to, I agree too, Sammy Side Effects. So far, I don't think they're sellouts. But this all stemmed from a conversation I had with my friend who was like, fuck you, kid. I won't do what you tell me. He said, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me to fuck you, get a job. And so you can afford these fucking tickets. I mean, like money, but yeah, I imagine they probably all doing pretty well. Yes, of course, they're doing very well. But they've done a lot of wonderful things with their money and a lot of charity stuff that they've applied their money to. So, you know, Anyways, moving on.
We're not reading the liner notes and going, oh, who's this Mumia guy? But when your audience is in the millions, as theirs was, even if 90% of them don't get it, 10% of, millions and millions of people is still a lot of people. And they definitely did spread a lot of awareness with the platform that they had. For example, the video for Freedom, which I saw tons of times on MTV, was about the Native American activist Leonard Peltier. They talked a lot about things like colonialism and Eurocentrism that were very new ideas back then, like the whole Columbus Day as genocide thing that you've heard a million times now. Nobody was talking about that in 1992. And how many millions and millions of kids became aware of these issues because of something that Rage Against the Machine said in Rolling Stone or MTV or any one of these other big mainstream media outlets. They were on a roll back then. It seemed like they were just unstoppable. The only thing I really remember as being kind of a bump on the road was they had some beef with a band called Downset, who were another band that came out of the Southern California hardcore scene and started doing like political rap rock around the same time as Rage Against the Machine. They were a lot closer to actual LA street culture. And so when they heard the Rage line rolling down Rodeo with a shotgun, they came at Zach with this song.
What does Rage know about motherfucking South Central? Zach, what you know about a settler side? Fake motherfucker never even seen a line.
Personally, I've always liked Downset a lot better than Rage, especially their second album, Do We Speak a Dead Language? But anyway,
that's fucking terrible. That sounded like fucking Fred Durst. That sounded like Fred Durst. I feel like Rage Against the Machine had a little bit more finesse to the genre than Downset. Downset, they're all right. They're not horrible, but like it also just seemed like they were trying to pick a fight with a band that was way more massively popular than them, because who remembers Downset anymore? Nobody remembers Downset. But you know who fucking buys $450 tickets to go see their band, go see their favorite band? Rage Against the Machine fans. I fucked that whole thing up. I like punk rock, NBA, but often he's a contrarian. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, apparently they're blaming yeah. They're blaming the hey, leave Frederick alone. You better calm down. Alone, Downset seems like they were original clout chasers. Yeah, it does seem like that. Well, Rage Against the Machine is blaming what were they blaming? The people who buy the tickets and then charge an arm and a leg? Scalpers. They're blaming scalpers for that price, but their tickets are starting at $125 a piece. So I told the story how I seen Rage Against the Machine for $50 with Gangstar, but that was early 2000, maybe late 90s, probably late 90s.
If the band had broken up then, if that first album was all there ever was to Rage Against the Machine, that itself would have been pretty interesting. But what's even more incredible is that this was just the beginning. Rage Against the Machine's second album, Evil Empire, came out in 1996, debuted at number 1,
awesome
knocking
album.
Alanis Morissette out of that slot, actually. And if anybody thought that they were going to water it down either musically or politically, that was definitely not the case. Musically, I think that album was just pretty much exactly what it should have been. Same thing as the first album, just better. No compromises there. They definitely didn't go pop or start writing love songs for car commercials or anything. And lyrically, if anything, they went more radical. One of the main things being that they aligned themselves with a guerrilla group called the Zapatistas in Mexico. And like I said earlier, this video is not a referendum on their politics, and honestly, I don't know enough about the Zapatistas to have an informed opinion on that. But either way, a Billboard.
And we were kind of talking about what they did. They were like the lowest income earners of the poorest of people who were being taken advantage of and exploited by the Mexican government. And Zach De La Rocha had a big hand in funding these guys, and they were definitely guerrilla fighters. They were definitely walking around and shooting motherfuckers. So.
Or number one band, like vocally aligning themselves with what was essentially like a revolutionary communist paramilitary group, was pretty wild shit. There was also their infamous Saturday Night Live performance. To make a long story short, they played Saturday Night Live. They wanted to have upside down American flags in the background, but the show's producers were not having it, came out at the last minute, tore them off, and they ended up playing Saturday Night Live without the flag. And to me, this is actually a really good example of the line that Rage Against the Machine walked. It should come as no surprise that General Electric, which owns NBC, would find the second song we were going to play that night, Bullet in the Head, objectionable. It's a song which is in part about the media manipulation of public opinion during the Gulf War, and GE was a major manufacturer of warplanes that were used to commit war crimes in the Gulf. So on the one hand, you could look at it as they caved in. They played on SNL, which is owned by NBC, which is owned by GE, which is implicit in war crimes, and they just let the producers take the flags down and play it anyway. So that's one way you could look at it. On the other hand, you could say, okay, sure, but still, playing that song on SNL was an opportunity for them to get this pretty radical message out to however many millions and millions of people were watching that night. I think you could make a pretty reasonable case for either side of that. Personally, I feel like if you really truly believe that NBC is complicit in war crimes. I mean, that's some pretty serious shit. If you really truly believe that, you would never even consider playing that show at all. So I kind of question how much they really believe that, but who knows?
That's a good point. That's a good point. If you know what these people are doing and you're going to go and support that, no problem, Morby. Love you. Love you, G. You have a great night. I hope you fucking have a wonderful day ahead of you. Be good, be well. Sweet dreams, my friend.
Their next album, The Battle for Los Angeles, came out in 1999 and also debuted at #1. I personally don't like it as much musically as their first album.
Yeah, you're right, Sammy. And you got to think about it too. How many like fucking people who are like fans of these like underground bands that who are like, fucking yeah, these guys are awesome when there's like 10 people at their show, but then as soon as they blow up, they're like, oh sweet, they fucking sold out because they got popular. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. People are just gonna be mad at you because fucking you gain popularity and you gain fucking attention and you're no longer their little secret that nobody knows about but you. It's ridiculous. It's like if you like a band, you want to see them be as successful as they can possibly be so they can release as much material and content as possible, not just be your little fucking secret show, you know, and fucking 5 people show up to their show, you know, like that's not how a band works. That's not how a band sustains. It's unsustainable, especially these days with gas prices, you touring around, nobody's showing up to your show. That's bullshit.
It's a little too like rock for me compared to the first album, but that's just my opinion. Objectively, I think it was a really well done album. And once again, the band showed absolutely no sign of watering down their politics. Their infamous incident where they shut down the New York Stock Exchange for a little bit would be a great example of that. But anything that intense can't last forever. The band broke up in 2000, basically because of internal conflict. It seemed like they just couldn't really get along from what I can tell. But in the 8 or 9 years that they were active and the 3 albums they put out, they left a permanent impression on the world of rock and metal.
They
say, yeah, they're just doing what Rage did 20, 25 years ago. Dishes? Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. The most infamous and amusing example of that would be their #1 fan, the Republican politician Paul Ryan. And lastly, the big question is, are they just full of shit? Were they just hypocrites who got rich using communism as a marketing tactic? Well, I don't think there's like a yes or no answer to that. I think that's something that each of us has to decide. That's a very subjective thing. But personally, my take is that they are human. And like all humans, none of us are perfect. I think that they really do sincerely believe everything that they're saying. I don't think any of that is like fabricated or insincere or anything. I do think they believed in that message and they wanted to change the world for the better. And being normal humans, I think that they also wanted to get rich and famous, and there's going to be times in which those two things are at odds. Like the SNL thing, the MTV stuff, the whole idea of selling, you know, expensive t-shirts, and the whole thing with their reunion tour and the super high ticket prices at these giant corporate-owned venues. I understand that they have an explanation for that with scalping and charities and all that, but still not a good look. And I don't want to get too political here or anything, but I think it just kind of has to be pointed out that their sort of casual endorsement of communism is really kind of fundamentally at odds with the anti-authoritarian part of their message. I get that to Tom, a guy who grew up in middle-class America, went to Harvard, to him, commie is just a cool, edgy slogan that he can put on a hat in his next Rolling Stone photo shoot to shock everybody back home in Illinois. But let's remember that it's not that for everybody. It's a very real thing to the millions and millions of people out there who suffered or died at the hands of communist regimes. And to them, it might not be so cute. For example, my father-in-law is one of the thousands and thousands of people who got put in prison by the communist government in Vietnam. And he probably would have died in there if he didn't manage to break out, escape Vietnam, and bring their family to America.
When you say re-education camp, that's the term the communist government used. For us, it was truly a prison.
All of that being said, I do give them the benefit of the doubt. I think that they are sincere. I think they really do believe what they're saying. They may not be 100% consistent all the time. They're certainly not perfect. I mean, who is? They're human beings who fall prey to vanity and ego and greed just like the rest of us. And I think if you put any of us under the microscope and made us pass that same kind of purity test, I think all of us would probably fail it too. So all of that being said, I think they did just about as good of a job as anybody possibly could at what they were trying to do, at being a giant, mega famous Billboard #1 band and putting a radical political message out there.
Yeah, that's one thing that you got to say is that Rage Against the Machine, for all their faults, they've stuck true to that rebellious nature. Yeah, those are some high ticket prices. Those are really high ticket prices. But with inflation and gas. But that being said, I agree with this dude. He definitely, I think he pulled it apart really well. And the idea of communism, man, like there's this communism. There's never been a government that's practiced communism or put it into practice where it hasn't turned out to be just a horrible shit show tons of people dying, tons of people suffering, only the top are winning. And I realized that could be, that could also be a definition of capitalism as well. But there's never been a system that's worked that has allowed a country like America and a band such as Rage Against the Machine to flourish and to be able to have the freedom to say what they did say, for us to be able to say what we are saying. I'm not the biggest fan of capitalism. I do think that, obviously it's built on the backs of the poor. But I do think that there's some sort of medium that we could come to where we have a mixture of both. And maybe that would work. But who fucking knows, man? Who fucking knows? I mean, there's a lot of ideas that are socialist in this country that are practiced, like the fire department. We have social welfare, a social net for people, which is like 2/3 of our budget it goes to welfare and healthcare and helping people who need help, which I'm a big supporter of that. I'm a big proponent of those programs. So, I think that if we can find a happy medium, maybe Rage Against the Machine found their happy medium. I don't know. No one's ever going to let communist system work either, though. Usually the U.S. invades. Rage probably would not have existed in, say, China. Absolutely. We should just expand the social programs. There's no way 2/3 of the budget goes to welfare. Let's look at our budget real quick before we play boobs again. USA's national budget, is that what it's called? U.S. national budget. Breaking down the U.S. budget. Where's the pie graphs? We need the pie graphs. We have images. So here's government spending. You're probably right, but let's see. Government spending in the United States. So here's 2020. What's other? What's other? So welfare, defense is 10%, welfare, education, healthcare, pensions, and Social Security. So that definitely looks like between 12, 13, 21, and 15%. What is that? However, almost half of it is military. Well, this looks like 10%. But what's other? That's what I want to know. What the fuck is other? So this is off Wikipedia. Who knows if this is right? But if we're looking at the 2020 budget, education, which is in a way social welfare, right? Like free education for, before college, school is free for the most part. Welfare, which is, we know welfare. Healthcare, which is, which was expanded under the Obama regime. And then pensions and Social Security, which is a social net. The graph is different than my graph. Where's your graph at? I need your graph. I want to know what other is, though. What's other? So the federal budget in fiscal year 2020 above. That graph is different than my graph above. LOL. Where's your graph? Where is it? So let's see. National defense, about 914 billion. Other, which is, let's see what other is. Outlays of federal, civilian, and military retirement, some veterans benefits, others earned income, child tax credits, supplemental nutrition assistance programs, and other mandatory programs minus income. So this other is apparently still a social net there. Oh, are you trying to? Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Sammy, will you send that to me via Whispers, please? I want to see your chart. Don't you fucking do it, you son of a bitch. Okay, there it is. If you can, send it via Whispers, and then I'll open that up over here. Oh my God, this is horrible. Sorry, guys. Welcome to chat. Yeah, because I want to see your shit. So mandatory spending, Medicare. So, I mean, if you're looking at this, it does. If you're going by this budget right here, we'll go back here. If you're going by this budget, it does seem to be almost more than 2/3 goes to social network or social netting and social care. So that's all I'm saying. There's still a lot unemployment, paycheck protection program. So, and this is also 2020, which is the pandemic year. So, you know, this is probably not a great gauge either. Well, that's good. I'm surprised. I was surprised too. I was really surprised as well. Okay, so net interest mandatory. See, I don't know what these mean. Mandatory. So here we go. Food and agriculture, military. Oh shit! Look at that, military. So that is discretionary budget. So this is 2020. Fighting for budget but prioritize peace. National Priorities Project. Okay. So this is a National Priorities Project. Oh God, what did I just click on? So if we can go in here. So yours is so education, veteran benefits, government. One that's 300. That's about 400. That's 500. That's in the 600. So we have all these, and then the military, which is almost half. So it's almost half. According to this chart, almost half went to 2021. Go down one more. So, I mean, if you're going by this, okay, so mandatory federal spending fiscal year 2021, 5.2 trillion. And here it says military on here says, which is military is what, purple? Military is 21 billion. So which chart do we go by? So Social Security, unemployment, and labor, that says 52%. Medicare is 27%. So if we're going by this one only says that it's about 0.41%. Food and weed culture, the tiniest. Which is kind of sad that food and agriculture isn't more, because we have nothing. Our food here is garbage. 80%, what was it? The last one says federal spending. Total federal spending. So here we go. Let's look at military. Military says 10.9%. Social Security, science. So look how little science gets. Look how little science gets. That's why we're not number one anymore. We invest garbagely, which Social Security is important. I definitely agree that Social Security is important. Medicare and health is definitely important. Veterans benefits, we want to take care of our veterans. Housing is important. Government, whatever that means. International affairs, I guess we got to say. But energy is garbage. Science is garbage. Transportation is okay, I guess. Food and culture, I feel like food and agriculture should be way more invested in. Yeah, NASA is fucked. Yeah, for real. So, you know, when we look at last year, it does seem like a majority of our funding does go to social net programs. Education, what the fuck? Yeah, man. Yeah, education is garbage. We are garbage in education. We do not invest in education. Do we invest more in education or military? What do you guys think? Military or education? So education says 6.21% and military says 10.9%. See, can we switch that shit around a little? Can we switch that shit around a little? And this money is all going into these fucking asshole companies who are just making millions and millions of dollars off of billions of dollars off of fucking bombing brown people. And it just sucks. Military, so we don't have to. So there you go. This is America in a nutshell, I suppose. So yeah, before oh my God, the military is extremely wasteful. Yeah, when you look at what happened in Afghanistan after Joe Biden pulled out last year, we left all those tanks. Leon Lounge, what's going on, my friend?
In the place to be.
Thank you so much for that sub, my friend. Good to see you. This is for you. We're just talking shit. We're getting ready to wrap up here, but this is for you nonetheless. All the love.
Hello and welcome to We Speak English